And I don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe we're getting ready to get assassinated out there. I don't know. Maybe the Harry Krishnas are going to come in here. I don't know. So, let's do this. If you still have time to Skype, let's try this. Let's go to Bobby Gray. The Bobby Gray. I think we found him. I think we may have found him. Maybe. He's somewhere to be found. Or not be found. Or he's not found. Or he's there and he's not there. I don't know. Okay, I think we may have found him. Wait, he is no longer missing in action. Bobby, can you hear us, sir? Uh-oh, I cannot hear you. I can see you, which is good, but I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There we are. Look at that. I got you. Holy smokes. Look at that. Okay. We were going to go to our next guest. He is going to join us here on our big program. Bobby Gray is with us, and Bobby Gray is fantastic. He is going to be at Exotica in Chicago. Of course, Rosemont, Illinois, but for the purposes of promotion, we'll say Exotica Chicago. And we have got Bobby Gray with us today. He joins us live here on our big program. So, Bobby, you were missing in action. I'm glad that we found you. Thanks for being with us today, sir.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. Yeah, like I said, I was running around today, and I had the kids, so it was lost track of time, especially when you're dealing with that. But no excuse. So
hey, you're good, baby. You're good. So Bobby Gray, you can get more information online, BobbyGrayXXX.com. And Bobby Gray is also available on the old Twitter machine, Bobby Gray XXX. And he joins us today here on our big program. And first of all, your Manny Vids site is amazing. It's not the porn that gets me, it's the titles. I love the titles, sir. These are tremendous. How do you come up with some of these titles for these porn movies that you've got?
Great question. It's, for me, it's a couple of things. One is looking at the connection that I have with the person that I work with.
Yes.
And so, like, for example, like Lustful Impressions with Amy Quinn. We met through, and shout out to Tadpole X Studios, great guy. So I got to meet her there. And he just knew, he kept hitting me up because, I was running around, I was busy doing all this other stuff. And so he just kept reminding me, he goes, hey man, he's going to come out here. So finally I make it out to Chicago Exotica last year, and I get to meet Amy Quinn. And it was like, from the moment, we saw each other, it was just this, it was like this lust, like this energy that we had between us. And so pretty much, we took that energy, we shot together, and that's when I thought about it, like right afterwards. I was like, it's like immediately it just popped in my head. It was like Lustful Impressions. And then working with and it was just reading that energy, reading what's in their eyes, because I'm a very passionate, there's a lot of times when people tell you things, but they won't say it physically. They'll say it through their eyes. Their energy will speak to you. And so Renluca, when I came up with the title of, Teach Me Pussy Something, it's just like I heard somebody talking to me. And so, yeah, that's just pretty much, I just go from within, and I just listen to my inner self tell me, and I listen to the energy that I get from the female talent that I work with, and I just came up with that.
So you have some interesting titles, interesting porn. one of the things that you have a what is it? Desert hookup. How the hell did you film this in the middle of the desert?
So I got to give a shout out to Young Girl Photos, Sophie Marie, Spike Irons. They actually set that up. So I made my way out to Vegas and had an opportunity to shoot with Sophie Marie. So I was like ecstatic. And, and I was like playing out in my head, like, what are we going to do? We're going to do a hotel scene. We're going to do a shower scene. But Spike Irons, he had it all planned out. So he said, hey, he told me ahead of time, he said, hey, we're gonna go out in a nice little secluded area. And he's like, don't worry about it. He's like, I know certain spots. I was like, I bet you do. And so we went out. It was me, him, and and Spike, I mean, the thing that I learned from him was detail. He's been in the business, I want to say, close to 20 years, and so he knows his stuff, and he knew the exact spots. He knew how to keep it safe, and he knew exactly the angles. He knew the shots, and and so because of that, because he had everything pretty much already ready and planned out, it allowed me and Sophie to just do our thing. It allowed us to just be comfortable. And that's pretty much how it happened.
I love it. I love it. We've got Bobby Gray with us today. He joins us live here in our big broadcast. And I love one of the things I like about what he's doing is the titles on his porn movies that he's got over there on ManyVids. So how do you get some of the different girls that you work with? Are you getting them through, casting agents, things like this, or are you setting this stuff up? Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, so a little bit of both, but I would say mainly, most of the time, it's just me reaching out to them. Like, I'll start following the women on Twitter, or I'll hear about them through Tadpole or through like another connection in the business. And like if Tadpole hits me up and says, hey, you should think about maybe working with so and so and so and so, or I had showed so and so your picture, or I showed them your Twitter page, and they were very interested. But a lot of times, like I'll reach out to them, like for example, Cassie Bender, Siren Verde. We reached out to each other. I'm not sure exactly who was first, but I do remember we just talked to each other on Twitter. We connected, we talked. And one of the things that I realized that a lot of the women in the business, of course, really, really, really are appreciative of is a guy that's just a gentleman and professional.
Yep.
They get it. They understand, that we, of course, we find them extremely beautiful and we just want to have, amazing sex with them. But leading up to that, they enjoy the fact that somebody can reach out to them, actually put together a sentence and
that's
and
awesome.
Communicate with them, and so I think that does a lot for me. And then on the other hand, I do reach out to the agencies. One of the main ones that I reached out to recently, or not recently, but the last time was Fox Modeling, and that was Chris Kane, and that was when I was booking Aria Carson, because I had worked with her before through Private Society, through one of their orgy shoots. They, I was talking with them, and I showed them my stuff, and they were like, yeah, come on down. We're gonna have a party whenever. So I went out to that. I got to meet Aria Carson. We connected, and we stayed in contact. And then I reached out to Chris Kane of Fox Modeling, and gentleman, professional, and he was able to pretty much work everything out as far as like the location and stuff. Like once I had everything figured out, he was able to make sure it was synced with her and her schedule, her calendar, and yeah, everything was smooth. So those are the two ways that I do it. But I would say the main way that I've done it since I've gotten to the business is I just reach out to the women on Twitter. I write them a respectful message. And one thing that I'll definitely say as advice to anybody out there, especially guys who are looking to get into the business, and especially if you're doing it on your own and you don't have agents behind you, if you don't have anything like that to help you out, and you're just kind of doing like a cold call per se, just be respectful, be yourself, let them know what you're looking to do, and if they're not interested, that's fine. It could be various reasons, but don't take it personally. That's just the way life goes, whether it's in your personal life or the professional world of this business, just take it with a grain of salt. Just keep it, because somebody is going to want to work with you.
Fantastic. We have got Bobby Gray with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. We are coast to coast at border to border on iHeartRadio today. And he joins us live. So Bobby, how did you end up in the porn business?
Oh, goodness. So that was like I would say it was close to on and off like a 20-year journey for me. I'm 41 years old now. I was 19 when I really was thinking about just jumping into the business. So back in the late 90s, I had done some research. And of course, the internet was back in its infancy, like kind of walk phase then. And so I had went on this thing called adultstaffing.com, and then of course sexyjobs.com. So I had, checked out all this stuff. And one of the people that actually got back to me, I can't remember his name right now, but he was a photographer, and he also helped with some of the cinematography in the business. And so I was living in Delaware at the time. I'm originally from New York. I was going to college in Delaware. And so when he reached out to me and said, hey, you have a good look. If you're willing to, you can come up here. Or whenever you get back in New York and take pictures, we can talk. And, I can give you a rundown of the business and stuff. And if you're still interested, he said, I'd love to work with you and get you signed on for some shoots. So, as fast as I could, I made my way up to New York under the guise of going to see family and friends, which I did. But still, my main purpose was to meet this guy. So he sent me a link for his site. I checked it out. I looked it up and all that stuff. And so when I got there and realizing, okay, yeah, he's credible. He is who he says he is. I get there. We're talking and everything. He was taking pictures. I was so excited. I was ready. I mean, I was already thinking in my head that I had watched in porn, like Jenna Hayes and Gina Fine and goodness, Charlie, Raylene, Cassie Ray. I mean, like all these names were just popping through my head. I was just so excited. I'm young. I'm 19. And then he kind of burst my bubble. And he said, well, just so you know, the way it goes in this business. And even when I think about it now, what I'm about to tell you, I don't hold it against him, because maybe that's what it was for certain people, for certain guys. But he did say to me, he said, there's 3 ways you get into this business. He said, 1, you got to be hung down to your ankle. 2, you got to find a woman. Yeah, exactly. he said 2, you got to have a woman that's coming into the business and she brings you in, and that's how you get in. Or 3, you got to do some gay porn that shows that you are, or proves that you are very serious about this business.
Yep.
There, we will bring you over into the straight side. And I was like, okay.
I know. I find that so strange. I just find that so strange. But yeah, I've heard that before.
Yes. And so he was really trying to convince me. He's like, man, he's like, trust me. He's like, I'll take care of you. You won't get abused in the business. And I had said to him, I said, well, I said, it's funny because I even before I met him, I kind of heard that, and I was like, well, one of the things that I heard, and this was back in the 90s, I was like, a lot of the women are not really privy to that. And of course, years later, you hear Augusta Ames, rest in peace. She came out and spoke out, against that because of her beliefs, her feelings, and stuff. So long story short on that part, I said no, turned it down. And he's like, well, if you ever think of, reconsider, just hit me up. So went back to college, finished up, went to the Army, ran around for 11 and a half years in the Army. And then it was always in the back of my head. I kept trying to ignore it. It was always like this voice in the back of my head. So I'm in LA now. This is 2015. And I make my way to the XBiz Awards and conference, and I got to meet Joanna Angel, Shawn Michaels, and I just, see all these people again, these legends. And I got to talk to them and listen to them. And I remember Joanna Angel said something that still sticks with me to this day. She said when she was coming up in the business, before Burning Angel, she she thought that because of how loyal she was and everything that she did, that now when the time came for her to put her dreams forward, that all these people would jump on board. And she said she was surprised how a lot of people told her no when it came to Burning Angel, and that, nobody's going to watch a bunch of gothic chicks getting, fucked. And of course, we saw how that turned out. And so,
I don't know who those people were, but they obviously did not do any market research.
exactly. And so, and and I was shocked at that when she told that part of the story. So fast forward now, I make my way to Texas because I got my kids out here. So I make my way to Texas, and I kind of say, you know what, I'm not going to worry about any of the. And I was also doing mainstream acting when I was in LA, so I was putting that onto the side either for my kids. And so it was December 2019. I'm sitting on my computer. I'm not even. And something just pops in my head, and this voice I'm trying to bury. And he just said to me, he said, you know what, just take a risk, give it a try. What do you got to lose? So I went on the computer, I created my Twitter account, and I said, you know what, let me look up AVN. And, AVN Award is going to come up January 2020. If anything, I'll buy a ticket, go hang out there, schmooze, and then if nothing happens, hey, I can at least say I tried, and I go back home and relax. As I'm looking up AVN stuff, I see a post from this guy, and he says, have you ever wanted to be in the business? And he said, do you enjoy watching porn and everything like that? He said, do you want to shoot with some of the hottest stars? He said, if you're serious, get tested. He had the link for TTS and everything. He had his link on there that showed all his stuff and his content. He said, if you're serious, get tested, make your way out, and I'll give you an opportunity. Reach out to me, right? And it felt like he was, even though it was like a posting on Twitter, it was to whoever, I felt like he was talking to me, so I responded. And immediately the guy contacted me back. And of all the people, it was Tadpole. It was Tadpole. And so we stayed in contact. And from the moment we spoke on the phone, I mean, super down-to-earth guy and, big heart. So I make my way out there. As soon as my flight lands, because I gave him my flight information, as soon as my flight landed, it's January 2020, AVN weekend. He calls me. He says, "Hey, Bobby, where you at?" And I said, "Flight just landed. I'm gonna go grab my bags. I'm gonna grab my rental car, and then I'll meet you over at the hotel that you're at for the shoot." He says, "Okay, cool." As soon as I get my bags, he hits me up again. He's like, "Bobby, where you at?" I was like, "Dad," I was like, "I got my bags. I'm about to go get the rental car." He's like, "Hey, I need you to do me a favor. Forget the rental car. Just get an Uber. Get over here fast. I need you like ASAP. It's at the Hard Rock Hotel." I'm like, "All right." I get over there. It's like everybody's there. It's ridiculous. I'm just like in awe. I'm like, oh my God, I'm here. So we finally end up, we get to the elevator. I mean, thank you so much. 6 or 7 guys that said that they were going to show up. He said, "You're the only one that showed up."
Wow.
And he said, "Yeah, she's upstairs. She's waiting." I'll tell you who it was in a second. And as we're going up the elevator, he looks and he says to me, he goes, "Oh, by the way, no pressure. This is all on you." And I'm like, all right, appreciate it. So we get in there, and who do I meet? Bubbly, bursting with energy, Kendra Hart. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. My first shoot. So we did that. And one of his crew members was already TTS tested because that gentleman was going to jump into a shoot the next day, and Tadpole had promised his fans that it would be a group shoot. So not to disappoint, because he was TTS tested, I was tested, so we were all good. But yeah, we had fun. Kendra Hart was, like I said, she was just amazing. Just super, like I said, down-to-earth professional. She made me so relaxed. I mean, I'm always going to be grateful to her for that. And like I said, Tadpole got me in, so that's why you're going to see me in Chicago at his booth. He told me about it. I said, "Dude, I'm there." I'm not always able to make it out for a Tadpole shoot or event, but whenever I can, whenever I can, basically do my part to tell him thank you, I do that. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have got Bobby Gray with us today. You can get more information, Bobby Gray XXX, on the old Twitter machine. So when you're not doing the porn thing, what are some of the other things that you're into?
Let's see. So acting, modeling. I've been doing that since 2014. So you may have seen me on some short films. You may have seen me on Law and Order SVU, Blue Bloods, Blacklist, FBI, The Americans. Some of them were like really small roles. Others were a little bit supporting roles. I was on I think probably the most popular one or at least popular for me. It's called Say It to My Face. It was a restaurant reality show. I don't know if they're running it anymore. I don't think they are, but I was on, I believe, season 1, episode 3. It's called Meatball Meltdown. You'll see me on there.
Of course, you're
and basically, the owner, the manager of the restaurant, she had a meltdown. And I didn't help because when people get angry, I don't match that energy. I match it in a different way. I'm very calm, very strategic, very collective. Probably my military training, and so it just basically pissed her off even more. And it's a funny segment, so check it out if you get a chance. But yeah, do that. I get into Spartan races, so I love working out. So I love doing Spartan races. So always like hitting up either CrossFit or high intensity interval training. I'm a father of 2 boys. So I was married previously. I was married twice, actually. Nothing against marriage, nothing against relationships. I've just learned that, enjoy being single because it teaches you a lot about yourself, and most likely helps you to, be better when that actual person comes into your life, for that better relationship. And yeah, other than that, like I said, just pretty much it. Just doing my acting and doing my sport races and being a dad. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I hope to see you in Chicago, my friend. Thanks for doing this, and thanks for making time for us. And we will definitely see you at Exotica, my friend. Thanks for being on with us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me. Look forward to seeing you all in Chicago Exotica. And again, appreciate the honor and the blessing, and all the best, man. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. There he goes. That is Bobby Gray, the fantastic Bobby Gray. And we are going to take a brief time out and